St. Louis, #3 cemetery, recognized as the City of Angels for a couple of reasons. Now, before I get into my spiel, I'm gonna burst my own bubble. We're not going in. This is the St. Louis #3, and we are on Esplanade Ridge. The St. Louis #1 is the one that's over on Basin Street. Marie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen, is buried there. Nicolas Cage has an empty pyramid-style tomb for some reason. Well, in 2015, because he got money. Now, in 2015, we had a psychopath break into that cemetery in the middle of the night. Look at Marie Laveau's tomb, plot #3. It's covered in X's and offerings from people from all over the world. So he painted her tomb Pepto-Bismol pink with a latex-based paint. Covered up all those X's, but vandalized the tomb. Whenever the guards with the Archdiocese came in the next morning and they saw the bright Pepto-Bismol pink, I don't blame them. They hired someone to pressure wash that paint off. Has anyone here ever pressure washed something before? Yeah. Are you familiar with it? High pressurized water? Does that sound like a very bad idea? It devastated the tomb. It got rid of that paint and the original stucco, broke open the nameplate and exposed the remains inside. Ooh. Left the tomb decrepit by Save Our Cemetery standards. Big bad. That cemetery was shut down for an entire year while that tomb looks better than anybody has seen it thus far. Okay. Great, fantastic, wonderful, but at a huge price. You can no longer enter that cemetery for free or by yourself. You have to go in with a licensed tour guide. And not just any licensed tour guide, y'all, but one that has been approved by the Catholic Archdiocese here in New Orleans.
Okay, you got a license?
13 years of private Catholic schooling right here.
Okay.
But me, Sarah, your overqualified friend, the tour guide, I can't take you in the cemetery because I don't do the cemetery tours during the summer. It's entirely too hot. You can't focus on anything, and quite frankly, it's not worth it. No one is buried inside of Marie Laveau's tomb anymore. Since the most recent restoration, all of the human remains have been exhumed. It is empty. If you are caught making an X or leaving an offering, not only can you be fined, you can be banned from entering that cemetery again. How they enforce that? I don't know. Do they take a picture? I've never seen it happen. I'm just supposed to tell you that. Okay. Now, Nicolas Cage ain't dead yet. That tomb empty too. Some people say his career is buried there, but every church says that. The Protestant section of the Catholic cemetery, all of the Protestant bodies have been exhumed and disposed of, not buried somewhere else. Because it's a Catholic cemetery and those dirty, rotten Protestants have no place. If you didn't laugh at that, you are not born, raised, married, or baptized Catholic, and you think I'm horribly offensive, but that's okay. Jesus loves me and I know my truth. Now, the reason why
Jesus loves everybody. Jesus loves everybody.
All right, now, here's the thing, y'all. I stop here as a prerequisite stop. Not so much to explain the burial methods, but to make sure tomorrow, next time you come back to New Orleans, anytime you come back, you don't have to pay a specialized tour guide to take you into the only cemetery that costs money. All of the Catholic cemeteries are open during the day. They are free to enter. You do not need a tour guide, and the Catholic ones are the only ones locked at night. So, y'all know why we bury above the ground, right?
Nah, I don't.
Yeah, sea level?
Because of sea level?
Because of the water, because of the floods. I thought the same thing growing up down here.
I'm gonna get buried standing up.
Until I started school. In 2 years, I will be a licensed mortician here in the state of Louisiana.
You're going to mortician school?
Yeah!
Wow.
2 years into that program. And y'all, it's a morbid business.
Wow.
But this is something that I deal with on my day-to-day business. It's something I'm very familiar with. We do not stop burials in the ground. 6 to 9 feet in the ground. Water table doesn't have anything to do with it. Now, there are some areas here in Louisiana, you know the image in your head of the boot, how Louisiana is shaped like an L, kind of? Mm-hmm. Now, boot has lost its soul. We're losing our coastline by several football fields a day. If predictions are correct, it is too late. There's nothing we can do, so there's no use crying about it. But there are some places where people are buried in the ground, and they have those airtight caskets that form that nasty little gas bubble. If the coastline is being eroded away beneath them, they can easily pop up and out.
Ooh.
So, that's not a problem we have here because the water's not to us yet. By the end of the century it will be, but cry about it later. Now,
we'll be dead,
we bury above the ground because this burial method saves space and it is traditional. Now, here's the thing, y'all. It is really expensive to bury your dead in this way. I'm not supposed to talk politics on one of these tours, but buying a plot in a historically protected Catholic cemetery and you are not born, raised, confirmed, married Catholic, starting rate can be $600,000.
$600,000.
$600,000 to $800,000, depending on. Burn me, like throw me in a box. Like I don't know what happened. But
whoa,
this is the first natural cremation. Until Vatican II, the Catholic Church was not okay with cremation, so storing bodies this was kind of the only way to do it. Because taking up real estate, y'all know how regular cemeteries work. One person's buried in the ground, they're in that spot forever. City, I don't know if anybody was looking out of the window. This is Esplanade Ridge. This is our Millionaires Road in the city. We have been, because we planned ahead. God bless America, we planned ahead. But You decompose a lot faster in the oven-style tomb than you do in the ground.
Mm.
In the ground, it can decompose. Inside the above-ground tomb, we estimate a person of average body type is gone as little as 2 years.
What about me?
Whoa.
Average body type is on
Sheesh.
average as well.
And what about me?
About 10 years.
Depends. Let me see.
Take your time.
I'm gonna say 3 years.
It's a lot of meat on that, girl.
All right,
She's
now,
gonna be a
it doesn't matter
mortician.
if it's been embalmed using formaldehyde, arsenic, any of the other.
Shh. Shh.
Hey, get him right.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna have to do the teacher thing. I'll wait. They won't wait. I'll wait. All right. So it doesn't matter if you've been embalmed using formaldehyde, arsenic, any of the other known carcinogens and embalming fluid, because those two chemicals will break down around 110 degrees. Heat index, we can reach that outside the cemetery. Inside that tomb, it can nearly triple the temperature. So
Whoa.
those chemicals will expel from the body within the first week of burial just due
Whoa.
to the heat. So you will still decompose like a champ. Embalming only preserves you for a certain amount of time, not permanently. And most names I've ever seen on one of these plots, 32. Does that mean that everybody was buried in there? No, because the Catholic Church has recently become okay with cremation. And I get it, y'all, it's the South, people think we marry in, incest, whatever, but we marry out and you get a lot more burial plots, more deeds under your name. So you have a lot of options. You don't just have one family tomb. On average, people own anywhere from 3 to 7.
3 to 7.
Usually inherit the deed or it falls under your name. But there is something recently that's been popping up, no pun intended, but if you are not active in the cemetery within a 10-year period, and I don't mean active as in burying, I mean taking care of the tomb, the city has every right to put your deed up for auction, and someone else can buy your family tomb.
Someone spends $32 million on, spends $3.2 million on it.
Why wouldn't they take care of it? Right, that's
Yeah.
the same thing. But we only found that out recently because in 2013, my great-grandfather passed away. He was 97 years old, and we found out that our tomb was up for auction. No one had bought it yet, but people had placed bids, and that always feels good. But you can absolutely open up a lawsuit, get it back, no problem. You just gotta learn your lesson, I guess. Now, before I move on, does anybody have any questions about the above-ground burial method?
You gotta be rich to do that.
No, there actually are some cheaper burial methods. This is just a historically protected Catholic Archdiocese-owned cemetery.
Oh,
Regular
okay.
Catholic cemeteries that are out there over in Metairie, 10 grand, 20 grand, super cheap.
Oh, that ain't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting
Super
buried
cheap.
above ground.
10, 20
My body
grand.
gonna be
Super
on
cheap.
display.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You're not coming over here 600,000, 600K?
I gotta get buried in my hometown, B. That's why I'm buried. They make a shrine in my memory.
A shrine,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? You gotta bury a king.
All right.
Absolutely,
Well, y'all, questions about anything
absolutely.
throughout the entirety of the tour. Hold it to the end of the story, but y'all, send me off on a tangent. We'll talk for 2 hours, and that's all y'all got me for. So, hop on that bus. The AC is awaiting.
Thank you. It's the full moon in New Orleans, y'all. We going to cemeteries. See you in a minute.